Here it is.
Here we are again, on our own,
We got quite a good one here.
walking down the only road we've ever known.
I Okay, yeah, we're walking down that road. Uh, Zach Creemer's definitely showing us some roads that he's learning. He played Burn for years. It might have been, it had to have been measured in years. Was played Affinity for a little bit, and now he's on Dredge. So he's really expanding his palette.
Yeah, he wants to stay aggressive, but he wants to have all the aggressive options.
Yeah.
I think this Dredge deck is a pretty good choice right now.
Oh, it spanked me a good one.
Spanked you a good one. Not as good against this Death and Taxes deck, which probably has the full 4 rest in peace in the yard. Or in the sideboard.
Sure.
Nothing's in the yard.
Is this the same as Eldrazi in Taxes? Like where they get path things and then they use the Wasteland Strangler to process the path creature back?
So that interaction may be there, but Eldrazi in Taxes was a black-white Eldrazi deck that also played Temples with Thought Not Seers and Reality
Okay.
Smashers.
Okay, here's a Horizon Canopy. And a Thraben Inspector.
Standard All-Star here to wreck faces in Modern.
We're on, So let's see. Alright, so I think this... I'm not very experienced with this Dredge deck, but the hands I do know are the ones that are super explosive.
Yes, those exist.
And so Life from Loam for Nothing doesn't seem like the most explosive start, but I
Correct.
think just dredging anything you can is probably critical to making the deck function.
Yes, we were on a Mulda 6,
Okay,
and you don't always get to
right.
pick the cards in your 6-card hands.
This deck dominated Modern for a minute. I mean, there's a time period in which people thought it just could not be overcome.
And then they banned a card.
Yep. Well, they rebanned a previously banned card. And so now we're back into a situation where this deck is just another role player. It's just part of the...
Ipoa says, I like processes mechanic. It's both flavorful and useful in games.
Yeah, I think... oops, sorry about that. Might cut in and out. I think they could have pushed that one a little bit harder.
Yes.
But...
So I disagree. I think it's flavorful, but I think it's too narrow in games. But that's just me.
I think every color should have gotten a little bit of that processing,
A little bit of process.
but it was mainly a limited mechanic for the blue-black Eldrazi decks. Really felt forced because they gave those decks a mechanic. What was it? That exiled the top 2 cards. There was a keyword name for it, and then they give them the process mechanic on top of that. So like, here's 2 mechanics that are jammed together with each other.
Right.
All right, so here's dredging for 5. Once you're dredging for 5, you're pretty happy about life. And the other card to come down is the Scourge Devil. This is a card that can clean up a game very quickly out of nowhere.
Speaking of cleaning up, I gotta imagine this Conflagrate's gonna do some work here.
Put a few cards in the bin. on
Probably
Zach's side, and
dumping all of them.
then putting a lot of cards in the bin on Justin's side for sure.
Yeah, I think you just get all of them here. But he wants to keep this gemstone cavern, so maybe you keep the Thraben Inspector alive.
All right.
Then heads up play, because now he'll be able to play land and get back these Bloodghasts.
Oh yeah, so keeping that one land around really counts.
So down to 14. So we also had a comment in chat that Dredge is still tier 1 and Affinity is not. And I don't agree with that statement. I think Affinity is still a very well-positioned deck. I think it'll always just go through phases where people are overly prepared for it.
Yeah, and hate to be results-oriented, but there were no Dredge decks in the top 8 of the Classic this weekend, and 2 Affinity decks.
Go you.
So there's evidence.
How's that
to
for
the
a
contrary.
source?
Affinity's it's a tough one. I mean, I watched our good buddy Kyle Kepi turn to a Stony Silence and still lose to Affinity.
It's possible.
I mean the cards that are good against it are definitely not like world ending.
Depends on the card, but yeah.
Like nobody's playing Shatterstorm anymore. Nobody's playing Vandal Blast. Now Vandal Blast is just a hell of a Magic card against it.
I think most people just aren't playing red.
Yeah, well they're not playing Creeping Corrosion then,
I would agree with that.
or Fracturing Gust. I mean, these are the types of cards that are like a full-blown just haymaker. The game's over.
My favorite full-blown haymaker the game's over against Affinity is the Knight of Soul's Betrayal.
Yeah, that's a good one. You're kind of a maniac for that one, but oh, is there an Aftermath card in the graveyard?
I believe so. I think we have
Is it the
a driven to whatever the other thing is. Drive to drink is what it is. And I think we're gonna see the drink side of that.
Jeez, that is intense.
Yeah, driven to drink.
Driven to despair. Holy smokes.
I like the driven half of this much more than the despair half, but the despair half can do some work here. Justin with 3 cards in hand, no defenders. So we're casting drink for 2.
I think we should just rename them all.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. I want. There's the card Mouth to Feed. I want it to just be Mouth to Mouth. I just want to recast the card. I just want to do a flashback.
Yes, this is in Mason, Ohio.
Which is a northern suburb of Cincinnati.
So it looks like Justin has a Restoration Angel here, so he'll be able to block 2 creatures, which is relevant. But he's going to have to discard 2. I don't understand.
He's going to
the
be
logic of
discarding?
this. Yeah, so he's going to have to discard 2, which is whatever. But if he would have played it, he could have blocked a Narcomoeba at least.
Sure.
I mean, that 1 damage could matter.
He can deal 4 here. And I
4's
guess
not
he could
enough.
Tectonic Edge So what you can do here is Tectonic Edge has like a 4 land clause, so you can do them both by stacking it correctly, and that would get Zach off of the Scourge Devil flashback, or unearth. I'm sorry, not flashback. Everything from graveyard to the world is okay, and that's what he's gonna do. So he does the 2.
So Scourge Devil flashback is offline. Conflagrate is still online. You have to. He had to deal himself with damage there. That could be very important here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're probably going to dredge back Life in the Loam.
And then you get to cast Life from the Loam. Oh, this attack can't be right.
It has to be. Like, you have to put pressure on him. Because if he gets to untap after casting Life from the Loam, then he's got you dead to rights on Conflagrate alone.
It's red, discard X cards, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So you have to present a clock here.
Yeah, so the Restoration... see, the Restoration Angel makes it so that... Yeah, it just doesn't win you the game next turn, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and if he hits a Bloodghast here, that's very good for him. So now we just get some free damage by attacking with everything.
Yep. Because the Inspector's almost priced into blocking the Bloodghast at this point.
Right, and you're going to get to cast or play a land, so Bloodghasts are free. There might be some merit to holding Narcomoeba back, although I can't imagine Justin's running like a pump spell or something. Like a Giant Growth would do it, though.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna cast split cards, Prepare to Fight could be.
No, Prepare to Fight's not a thing.
All right.
So blocks like that leaves him taking 3, and then he's dead next turn, so he only has 1 turn to survive here. Here's the Life from the Loam. And then just don't play land this turn. I mean, you can still, because he's at 3. Getting back a Dakmore salvage instead seems a little strange.
I want to get back a card that produces red for me. And that's what he's done here.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of even playing a land here. But you still have plenty of cards, so it's not a big deal. Justin draws an Aether Vial. I don't know what his other card in hand was.
Alright, so Zach, I think, is going to go for a... So he's got it both ways. He can attack one with a 2, and then...
Yeah, just attacking kills him right here.
Oh, sure. Yeah, just attacking kills him. And then Conflagrate... See, I wouldn't tap any of this mana. I would attack and then Conflagrate. You've got 4 cards in hand.
Yeah, just send everybody.
So you get to kill him all kinds of different ways.
And then if he has an answer to combat damage and you have him on the Conflagrate, there's no need to get cute.
Yeah.
You can pop a clue and hope to find a path.
That's true.
But then you're just still dead to Conflagrate, so... What's the point?
Yep. Right. What is the point?
What's the point of anything, honestly?
So Driven to Despair is the big standout there.
I'm not sure what that card does.
So Drink does, until end of turn, your creatures gain...
Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card.
Okay.
And they also get Death Touch? No, not Death Touch. They get some...
Menace.
Menace, that's the one. So I think we probably had an illegal block.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
It wouldn't have mattered. It's a difference of a damage.
Yeah, so this is a classic scenario. Dredge has a huge advantage game one.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those decks where, like, it just interacts... It behaves in such a weird way that it's very hard to interact with traditional cards.
Correct.
But games 2 and 3...
Although, I will say, if there's a deck that can fight it game one, it's this Death and Taxes deck. They have a lot of exile effects.
Okay. Yeah, you can sell me on that. Games 2 and 3... Oh, I think everybody has some... even if the cards aren't targeted at Dredge as, like, the best Dredge hate cards, everybody has cards that are going to interact with the graveyard to interact with Snapcaster Mages or Tarmogoyfs or things of that nature. So it always is going to be facing down sideboard cards. And
I mean, if Rest in Peace... If you're playing white and not playing Rest in Peace... Either you're playing a graveyard deck yourself, or you need to reevaluate what you're doing, because it's...
In life, or just in Modern Magic the Gathering?
Just in Modern Magic the Gathering. You can be a very successful person in life. Or you could not be successful and just have a good life.
Yeah, I think that's success.
Correct. But it's very good. A+ sideboard hate against Dredge. A+ sideboard hate against...
Tarmogoyf.
Kind of. But A+ sideboard hate against the Grixis Death Shadow deck.
Oh, yeah.
Just so many levels that this card is very good in.
You don't like making Tarmogoyfs 0-1s?
No, because it doesn't deal with them. It just, like, makes them 0-1s on the board, and then they Abrupt Decay, and then you get attacked for a bunch still.
Yeah, I still want to... I still bring it in. I still make them have it.
Yeah, that's probably wrong. I mean, if there's cards you have to take out, that's fine. But it's probably wrong to bring them in specifically for that matchup.
Okay. I'm open to sideboarding suggestions. 2017 Year of the Sideboard.
Year of the Sideboard. Yeah, you know he's going to have Riff. It's just insane here. And just insane in his deck in general. Yeah, Pulse and Decay come in. What's the other one they run? Nature's Claim?
Sure.
Not Nature's Claim, the newer one.
Oh, a Natural State?
Yeah, Natural State.
From Oath of the Gatewatch?
So I'd like to see what the chat thinks here. What does the chat think about Rest in Peace versus Tarmogoyf decks? Is it worth bringing in? Obviously, it hurts the Goyf, but it doesn't kill the Goyf. And when it doesn't kill the Goyf, makes it stronger.
It's only true in flavor text.
That's true.
What doesn't grow dies, and what dies grows the Lurgoyf. Alright.
Ak Hans Run. It's the Lurgoyf.
So Justin's going to go back.
So I think we're talking about just like a Jund deck, probably. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, that's fine.
So Justin on the play here, going to 5. This is rough, but he does hit a Rest in Peace. No lands to go with it. Going down to 4.
Yeah, this isn't good. So my question was about to be: is Rest in Peace good enough that Justin should aggressively mulligan to it?
Well, he had it there on 5 with no land. Do I think it's good enough? No. I mean, it is very good, but it's not unbeatable. Like, you need to have something going on aside from that.
He's You got some various lands here.
Phyrexian Revoker is the card on top. We're gonna scry that one to the top there.
Name's human with the Cavernous Souls.
Strong play. Looks like he's got a path, a horizon canopy, maybe 2 horizon canopies even.
They can dig you out if he's like on like 3 lands and no cards here. I could see cycling one of them to try and get back into the game. But all that really needs to happen here is a Blood Crazed Neonate from Zach. Discarding a Stinkweed Imp and call it even.
What does Revoker name is the question. I mean, you could try to mize a fetch land here. Yeah, not much.
Are flashback costs activated abilities?
No, they're just casting the spell.
So you can...
Hold on, let's see what he names here. Okay.
Okay, so Unearth apparently is an activated ability.
Yeah, Unearth is an activated ability. He's named Scourge Devil, which is pretty strong.
Yeah, so for example, you can name a card that has cycling, and that card can no longer be cycled. That's an activated ability of a card that's in your hand.
Right. But none of his cards have cycling, so... Flashes back the Conflagrate for 5 to empty his hand. Revoker was caught in the crossfire there. Doesn't matter, I'll take 2. How aggressive. He only had to take 1 there, but who cares?
Mirren Crusader, pro black and green.
Oh no, that's an Expedition Horizon Canopy, sorry. Yeah, pro black and green's going to be pretty strong here. Man, Zach really needs to hit some way to get a creature back from his yard.
So if he has any land here, he's still live for action because he can flashback this Faithless Looting, which puts the Stinkweed Imp back in the bin.
Right.
I think he has Dakmore Salvage in his hand, which I would just play and pass.
I think he's just got 2 Stinkweed Imps. Alright, so we've got a dead Mirren Crusader.
So here's the problem. If you would have played the Dakmore Salvage, it would have turned on and being able to cast a lot of the cards in his deck, which is not irrelevant. And I think having the Conflagrate in the board for later in the game is, you know, fairly important. He's got 1 more activation of this Gemstone Mine.
Yeah, that's not the end of the world. Like, you can get back the Dakmore Salvage at any time. He's trying to kill right here. And he's a Bloodghast or
a Narcomoeba
away. Or a land, really.
Yeah.
All right. Here come the big beats. Shabow.
One
Got you.
damage. The thing here is at any moment Justin could top deck a Life from the Loam, or I'm sorry, a Rest in Peace, and it would really put a damper on this board position. I don't think Zach could win from that position.
Yeah, it would be very tough.
Because we're looking at 3 of his prize amalgams.
1, 2, 3. Still no action.
So here we go. We're gonna
life from the loam. Get 3 lands back. Gives Justin another opportunity to draw into Rest in Peace, and now he's got a clock going. If he draws a land, he can pop a clue and get an extra shot at Rest in Peace this turn.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
So lands basically cycle for him. It is a land. Pop a clue. We get another shot here.
Alright. Yeah.
Four. Unbelievable. Still nothing.
Flashing back this Faithless Looting.
So we're going to
go.
Thug is the first. 2, 3.
Still nothing.
You got to hit off this imp. There's just not that many cards left in his library. Oh, got one.
You have to discard 2.
Took us a while to get there, but
yeah, here it is.
now we get the payoff.
When your opponent's at 4, at 4 cards.
So Justin does have. Oh, he draw Thalia.
I think you just have it. You just use a clue here.
So he has a path in hand and a Thalia. I like just playing the Thalia, leaving up the path. It's the 2-mana variety of Thalia.
Okay, so it's a 2/1 first striker.
So you get to trade off 2 of these prized amalgams if you want. And then path 1.
I still okay, so I think you try and redraw to Life from the Loam. Or to Rest in Peace. I keep getting those 2 cards confused. And do some blocking.
The draw is a Burnt and Forge Tender.
Yeah, that's not enough.
I mean, it's a creature. It's not a human, so you can't cast it off this cavern, which is very awkward here.
Yeah, you know all the cards in his hand because he's dredged them all back.
Also, is about the Blood Crypt because he Life from the Loam it back. But yeah. Okay, so big decision here. We could play the Thalia, or we could path. These Thraben Inspectors aren't really doing anything, so just chumping is probably fine. Thalia it is. So here's the plan. Get rid of as many of these prized amalgams as possible and hope to draw into Rest in Peace next turn. So we're dredging back Life from the Loam here. Dredging back Dark Blast here. Hits the Conflagrate. Hitting the Conflagrate is very bad for Justin.
Yeah, so what... Yeah, I just... This game is unwinnable, I think, at this point. I mean, short of Zach doing something really absurd.
Dark blasting the Flicker Wisp is interesting.
One of the Narcomoebas is new.
So you can just block 2 of the prized amalgams? And then he can't cast Conflagrate. And then you just take 7, you go to 5. You get to live.
Yes.
But as a result of this block, he only has 2 cards in. Conflagrate wouldn't be lethal anyway.
Well, Zach has 4 mana available to him next turn, so he can dredge back life from the loam.
Yeah. No, I mean, he
life from the loam to fill his hand. And
Conflagrate's definitely lethal next turn, if these attacks aren't.
2 paths. Oh man, this Cavern of Souls is really jamming him up.
Draws blanks. That'll do it.
Yeah,
Not gonna kill me with Conflagrate, says Justin Gebing.
Yep, just the... There's 2...
There's the ghasts.
Blood ghasts just hanging out with each other. Yep.
And then gets in for lethal, and that'll do it.
Alright.
Zach takes down the Death and Taxes matchup with Dredge. Justin on a mull to 5 game 2 was pretty rough.
It was 4.
Was
it was
he?
a mull to some absurdly low number.
It was a lot of mulliganing.
Really behind.
Didn't hit his sideboard. Well, he did kind of the Burnt and Forge Tender, which, whatever. But there we go. We'll be back for one more round of Hot Modern action here in about 20 minutes. Until then, sit tight, and hopefully these replays don't drive you to drink. Oh, Drew the Reality Smasher.
So do you play the Reality Smasher here?